Gender-based violence, yet another problem that plagues our society. What is it exactly? How does it affect us? And what can we do to change it? You are listening to New Horizon, the podcast, providing solutions for today and tomorrow. Through in-depth research, statistics, discussions, and so much more. Join us as we tackle real-life situations that plague the African society. Be an agent of change today and help us pave a way for the renewed understanding of Mother Africa. Give us your valued feedback and suggestions and be part of the solution today and facilitate the unified growth of our community. Change starts with you. Hello, welcome back to the second section of the discussion, which is devoted to gender-based violence. Today we're going to be looking into sexual violence. As we all know, gender-based violence is a big problem in our society. Unfortunately, a lot of people choose to turn a blind eye to it. Also, there are people out there who do want to make a stand but are unable to do so because of many reasons. As we discussed in part 1, gender-based violence takes up many forms. Some of these forms include physical violence, psychological violence, economic violence, and even sexual violence. Today we're going to be looking at sexual violence. As we all know, sexual violence is by far the most notorious form of gender-based violence, which, according to statistics and numerous studies, including our own little survey, gave conclusive evidence that the majority of sexual violence offenses were committed by men. However, to note, there was a small percentage of cases which were perpetrated by women. I'm sure if you were to go to your local police station today and simply inquire about the number of sexual violence cases, you might actually leave that police station with nothing at all. And naturally, if you were to, not get any information at all, or just get one or two names, then you would actually think that this whole problem of sexual violence is non-existent, or is or it's very minimal in your society, or is under control. But on the flip side, what's really going on is that most of these cases are going unreported. And I think today we're just going to be looking into the 10 most common reasons why these cases are not being reported. For simplicity's sake, we're going to give 5 reasons why violence against men goes unreported and 5 reasons why violence against women goes unreported. And keep in mind, these are not all the reasons. I know that there are many, many more reasons, but these are just the most common ones. So let's go. So starting with the men. The first reason is that the cases are not taken seriously. This is now common knowledge that, in some cases, men go and report their cases at the police station, for example, and they get laughed at. Really, they get laughed at. The second reason is that society has painted the picture that men are strong and that men cannot be sexually assaulted. This goes along the lines that, boys cannot cry. It's just painting a stereotypical picture that men are men and men cannot be affected by some things, but they can be. Well, the third reason, coming from society again, is that a man cannot be sexually assaulted unless he actually wants to be. Well, because of his anatomy, if you understand what I mean. The fourth reason is that sometimes when boys are the ones who are victims of sexual assault, they don't know what it is. They actually do not know what has occurred. And so, if you don't know what has occurred, then what are you going to report? And the fifth reason why sexual violence against men is not reported is that it is embarrassing, and if the sexual assault is being carried out by another man to another man, which will be sodomy in this case, the man can then be thought as being homosexual at the end of the day. Now to look at the 5 most common reasons why sexual assault against women is not reported. Well, the first reason, which has its roots in tradition, is by far the most common and is family pressure. Usually when a young girl or even an older girl gets sexually assaulted, usually by a relative, sometimes other relatives will stop her from actually going to report that because maybe they don't want the negative picture that paints on their family, that something like that has happened, or they don't want to see their relatives in prison. The second reason is that when a girl goes and reports a sexual violence case, usually she's going to get judged by her family or by society. She's going to be thought of as being unclean, and basically the rest of her life is just going to be different. It's never going to be the same again. Another reason is that nobody wants to believe you. Sometimes you can be a young girl, 14, 12 or whatever, younger than that. When you go there and report the case, what are they going to tell you? They will tell you that you're too young to understand these things. There've even been cases whereby older women, who have been sexually assaulted want to report their cases, but then the person who has actually assaulted them tells them. Who's going to believe you when you go and report your case? Because, for example, this was a case which I heard quite recently of a woman who said that she was sexually assaulted by her religious leader, who was a pastor. Of course, the pastor told her that, who's going to believe you, because, I'm a powerful man, so who's going to believe you? And naturally, this is another reason why some of these cases don't go, reported, because, you yourself will be like, why am I even going to waste my time? No one is going to believe me. However, if you are in such a situation or have been in such a situation, don't keep quiet. Make sure you go and report your case, because somebody out there will listen to you. The fourth reason is that when you go there to report your case, some people can actually blame you for letting it happen. In other words, they can actually come to you and tell you that you were dressed up, revealing, or you put yourself in that position. You're the one who went to that person's house. You let your guard down. You let it happen. However, don't listen to them. You just go and report your case. The final reason why sexual violence against women goes unreported is fear. Fear can leave you isolated from society. Fear can leave you in the same state for many years, and fear can stop you from living your life. If somebody sexually assaults you and then tells you that I'm going to kill you, or I'm going to, do some harm to your family, then that person is an animal and does not deserve to be living in the same society as you. And so if somebody threatens you, make sure that you have some courage and report that person. Report him and make sure that he is in prison. Well, those are the 10 most common reasons why sexual violence goes unreported, and a few additives. In the next podcast, we shall discuss the effects which sexual violence has on the victims and the society as a whole, and even the consequences that follow when the perpetrators of sexual violence are not brought to justice. If you have time, I highly recommend that you watch this informative and interesting film, which documents sexual violence in a small town in South Africa. This documentary is titled My Neighbour the Rapist, by a freelance journalist named Golden Mtika. I'll post the link in the description. As always, if you wish to express your views and opinions, do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section. We really love hearing from you. And if you found this video interesting or helpful, help us reach all corners of the society by liking the video, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. My name is Kumbolo Hove, the founder of New Horizon Zimbabwe. Thank you, and see you in the next video. You are listening to New Horizon, the podcast, providing solutions for today and tomorrow through in-depth research, statistics, discussions, and so much more. Join us as we tackle real-life situations that plague the African society. Be an agent of change today and help us pave a way for the renewed understanding of Mother Africa. Give us your valued feedback and suggestions and be part of the solution today and facilitate the unified growth of our community. Change starts with you.